is. You ever wonder what is the truth?
Three things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
And the truth shall set you free!
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Point Blank Truth Podcast. Today, we are doing a virtual edition of the episode, and our guest today is Mr. Gio from the Don't Mind Us podcast. Gio, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, Daniel. I appreciate you having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I got the whole setup going with the virtual. This is all new for me, but I kind of like the way it looks. I picked that background with the American flag and a little crack in it because I feel like our country is super divided, man. I know that you talk a lot about politics on your platform, and I've tuned into since I've joined the Lead Network. I've tuned into every episode you've put out since then. So I think it's only been like 3 that I've listened to, but yeah, man, you know, I'm interested to hear a little bit more about you, Gio. We've been talking through text, and we're very like-minded, and I just want to hear, you know, more about who you are, where you're from, you know, how you got into podcasting. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I should start off by saying that you'd be surprised how many people are like-minded. Americans are, I think Americans are pretty close in how we think, whether you're Democrat or Republican. The only thing is the media will have you think that we're so far apart, and they have us focus on all of the small differences, you know, what makes us diverse as a nation. Um, but more about myself, I do co-host the Don't Mind Us podcast. My co-host is Christian, and we talk about a lot of different things in politics. Specifically, we like to right now we're focusing on California because there's a lot coming on in the next several months into next year when we're going to be choosing a governor. Um, so we are kind of an offshoot of the Latino Free Minds podcast. So the reason we started Don't Mind Us is because we do all of the polished stuff on Latino Free Minds. We prepare everything. This is what we're going to talk about. And Don't Mind Us is kind of like, you know what? Let's go talk about that thing again, and let's say what we really wanted to say. And if somebody says a bad word, or if somebody says something a little controversial, it is what it is. It's just don't mind it. Don't mind
Right,
us. And that's
right.
how it started. And we were all on Latino Free Minds. I came in very late to Latino Free Minds. I was the last co-host of Latino Free Minds. Um, Even though the idea, I had talked to Daniel about it before he started it. Um, it was I was always afraid to jump in and give my political opinion. I work in the tech industry, and I always thought if I go out there, I'm gonna hurt my chances of not only keeping my job but finding another job at another technology company. And what is Apple gonna do if they find out that one of their employees? I don't work for Apple, but I'm just using it as what are they gonna do if they find out one of their employees is a conservative?
Do you work for Apple? No, I'm just
Am I right below Tim Cook? I don't know. So I had this fear of going out there and putting out my opinions, and at some point, close to the 100th episode of Latino Free Minds, we were getting close to the election with Donald Trump and Joe Biden / Kamala Harris now. Uh, I just came on, and something just like switched in me where I just started saying things. It just started coming out. And then one day, Daniel messages me. He goes, "Hey, do you think you can jump on Don't Mind Us for me this week and just roll with Christian?" I was like, "All right, yeah, as long as we do it on Tuesday, because Tuesday is the only day that I have available." I jumped on, and the rest is history. The next morning, he's messaging me like, "Man, that episode was probably the best Latino Free Minds we've had. You guys had such great chemistry. You and Christian just like roll. It's hilarious." The next episode, again, he's like, "Man, I'm watching it with my wife, and we're just dying in the living room laughing at you guys." And it's just, it's not that we're not comedic, we're not comedians, but we do just like to talk about politics from the point of view of you're just talking to a friend. So it's really just off the cuff how we feel about what's going on. It's not like Tucker Carlson sitting there talking to Rachel Maddow and they're arguing over things. We're just hanging out, and that's it. That's what we.
Yeah, isn't it interesting that that's the cool part about podcasting is I think that when it comes to being a podcaster, it really is just about the flow of a conversation, right? It's like we're not reading a teleprompter. This isn't like a news studio. It's just it's kind of like freelance journalism in a way, but it's also just a conversation that people get to tune into. You know, how many times I used to say this all the time is like, how many times have you sat with a friend and had a fun discussion and you think back and you're like, man, you should have been there. You know, you're trying to tell people about it. It's like the podcasting world opens up the door to where you can have these fun exchanges with people and then share it. And it's everlasting, dude. It's going to be on the internet forever, you know?
Yeah, and it goes back to the beginning, how I was saying you'd be surprised how like-minded people are because we get on here, and instead of arguing around the dinner table on Thanksgiving, we're just chatting and talking about things, man to man, and we have an hour or however long we have, and you're not going to be afraid to say what you have to say, and I'm not going to hurt your feelings. Probably not going to change your mind, but we're just going back and forth as men.
Right. 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 That's neat, man. So where are you at? Where are you located at geographically in California?
I'm in the Central Valley of California, just outside of Fresno.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
Just
right in
outside
the
of
center of
Fresno.
California. It's always hot. Probably not very different from where you're at.
Yeah, yeah, it's always hot in Temecula. Yeah, you know what, man? I happen to see the cast that you got over there. You want to talk about that a little bit? You were recently in a motorcycle accident, dude. Thank God you survived. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, did I raise my hand up?
Yeah, well, I just saw it out the corner,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, because I have like this
yeah,
eye thing here. I was in
yeah.
I was in a motorcycle accident. I was riding on the highway, and I saw all the traffic stopping, so I'm slowing down, and I probably had about 50 feet before the car in front of me. So I was slowing down to take up that space, but I can see out of the corner of my eye the right lane was slamming to a stop, and I saw this black car. I thought it was going to hit the car in front of it, but then he just quickly came into my lane, took
Oh,
up all my braking space. Um, so I hit the brakes, and from that point, I don't know if I hit him. I don't know what happened after that. It just completely blacked out. I do have like an image in my head of um, the motorcycle lifting up and the back tire coming up, and me thinking like, "Oh shoot!" Not so politely. um, and then I remember standing up and seeing the highway like to my side and all the traffic behind me, and then being in the back of the ambulance. The CHP report doesn't say much either. The CHP report doesn't say if I flipped without hitting or if I hit. I don't think people were paying too much attention because they were all slamming their brakes too. Uh, Um, but it did say that the motorcyclist, when the CHP showed up, was standing on the side of the highway with his motorcycle, and I was like, wow, I don't remember even getting my motorcycle and moving it. I'm pretty sure I would remember if somebody helped me, um, because it was when people started talking to me that I started to come back, like in,
yeah.
and that was the CHP officer and then the ambulance that showed up. when they were talking to me, and they're like, "Hey, man, wow, it looks like you broke your arm." And I was like, "Oh, I did?" And he goes, "Yeah, you don't see the bone sticking out?" And I looked at my arm, and I was like,
Oh man.
"Oh, is that bone?" And I'm going to touch it, and he's like, "No, don't touch it. You're gonna, you can get it. It's gonna get infected." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't even realize it was bone. I thought it was just like skin, like hanging out." He's like, "No, nope, that's definitely bone.
Dang.
Let's get you let's get you sitting down. We're gonna check all your vitals." And he's just talking to me. I think he's just trying to keep me awake. And he's like, "So are you gonna get back on a motorcycle?" I was like, "Yeah, man, of course I'm gonna get back on a motorcycle. Why wouldn't I?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, that's that you have to get back on." But, as soon as I got back in the as soon as I was in the hospital, I was like, "No way, I'm never gonna ride a motorcycle again." Because I started thinking about my family, like my wife, my kids, and I'm like, "There's no way. I can't leave, everything behind because I wanna save a little bit of money on gas," and that's the only reason I'm riding a motorcycle. It's not badassery. It's not because, I have this, sensation. I mean, it is free. It is you do feel free when you're riding, but it's not because, "Oh, I need that,
Yeah,
jolt of
ride
energy."
ride for life, dude.
Oh, yeah. No, it was because gas is expensive and riding a motorcycle is cheap. Uh,
Yeah.
so I thought,
And it's easier to, to cut lanes. You never
oh,
really
yeah.
sit in
In
traffic in a
In
motorcycle.
California, it's legal to lane split, uh,
Yeah.
so it's fun. But as soon as my wife was there, I was like, I'm not gonna ride my motorcycle. I'm not gonna ride a motorcycle again." She's like, "You sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's not worth it. I'd rather just get a Tesla." You know what? When I get out of here, I'm gonna heal up. We're gonna get a Tesla, and that's it. And I've stuck to it, man. We went and test drove the Tesla. I put an order in, and hopefully in a few weeks I get mine. So
Nice, dude. What kind of Tesla did you go with?
I went with the Model 3. I j it's, eh, we went and looked at the Y in a 3, and my wife's like, "Yeah, I mean, the Y is perfect for the family, and it's just 5 of us, it's plenty of space in the trunk." Yeah. If something about the way she was acting was not really sitting well with me, and we go into the showroom, and the guy's going showing all the settings in the computer, and I was like, "Yeah, so, if I get the full self-drive, I get 0% interest, right?" And he's like, "Oh, no, sir, I'm sorry. That's only if you get the Model 3." And I looked at my wife, and I was like, "I think I like the Model 3 better anyways." And she's like, "Well, what's the interest on?" I think they were doing like 3.99, and I'm really good at math, so I looked at the guy, and I go, "What is the interest?" Because I'm not gonna do the math if you already know. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." He starts pulling up the calculator on the little Apple machine, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, "Well, it's probably gonna be between 5 and 6,000 over 5 years." And she goes, "Okay." And full self-drive is 8,000, so it's only like a $2,500 difference. I was like, "Yeah." And then consider that the Y is a couple $1,000s more than the 3. So really, it's only like a $500 difference. And I prefer the way the Model 3 looks. And she looked at me and she's like, "Honestly, I don't really like the Y. It's a little bubbly." And I was like, "Yeah, it is bubbly." So since every time we see the Y now, I'm like, "Ah, it's such a bubbly looking car." She starts laughing. She's like, "Yeah, it is bubbly." So yeah, we went with the 3. For me, as the big person in the family, I sat in the back of both cars, the 3 and the Y. And my wife's like, "Yeah, there's so much more room in the Y." And I'm like, "It feels exactly the same."
Feels-
Except when I look up, there's all this space in the Y, and I'm like, "I'm not that tall." And I think by the time my kids get that tall, they're gonna be driving themselves, so they're not
yeah.
gonna be in here. And traveling, like, far, we have a gas car for that, like, we have an SUV.
Hmm.
This is really my way to get to work and save money.
Commuter. Yeah.
This is to replace my motorcycle, which was selfish of me because it's a two-seater, but I had it, like, modified a lot, so it was a one-seater really. Uh,
Yeah. I used to ride, man. I switched to a Harley, and then once I got out of the Marine Corps and had kids, I really wasn't driving. I really wasn't driving. I really wasn't riding as much anymore. So I ended up getting rid of it too. And and I noticed that when I would ride, I wasn't as comfortable. I don't know what it was. Something switched in me where I was like, I've been down before on a bike, and with motorcycles, there's two types of riders. There's those who have been down and those who are gonna go down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I just always felt like, I don't know. I'm gonna get out while I still have all my limbs and everything's good. So I
I,
ended up trading it. I
I'll
traded
admit,
it in.
man, I grew. My dad rode a motorcycle when I was a kid. He went a really long time before going down. He was probably around like 55, 50 to 55 years old when he finally went down, broke his sternum. And
Mm,
that's because he was going through some stuff, and I think he was drinking, and he was right around the corner, just like getting the fluids moving in his bike, and he went around the corner and dropped it. Um, and I always thought like, well, I mean, if he could be safe for so many years, I'm not a young man. I'm not going 120 miles an hour on the highway. I'm going speed limit. I'll pass up a car if I need to, but that's about it. I'm not going crazy.
yeah.
Um, but that's the thing. It's not just yourself. There's a lot of stupid drivers out there. In case in
Yeah,
point,
and that's
the guy that
that's
almost
what
hit
it
the
is.
front of him. Like
Yeah, you know what I mean?
what do you think you're gonna do? Like taking up the lane next to you in the middle of traffic? They're just
Hmm.
gonna hit you. They're gonna slam into you.
Yeah.
Um, and you're still gonna be in trouble in California because an illegal lane change is your fault. Um, but
Really? I didn't know that that was the case.
Yeah. So I always thought, it's kind of a new law. So it used to be like if somebody hits the back of your car, you're kind of like, ooh, whoo, like man, he hit me. Um, but now if you make an unsafe lane change, then it is your fault because you didn't plan for them to stop.
I
And
see.
the problem is the burden is on the person that hit you to prove that you did an illegal lane change. So it's a lot more common that people get caught now because all these Teslas have cameras. A lot of people have dash cams. Um, or witnesses are nice enough to stay behind. In my instance, there was a witness, but the witness said I was lane splitting, and I'm like, no way. There's no way I was lane splitting. Like, I'm too much of a chicken to lane split on an interchange in traffic when people are like on their phones. You can see, when you ride a motorcycle, you can see people swerving and stuff. So on the
Yeah.
interchanges, I'm just like, either I'll go if the cars are completely stopped and I can see that they're all matched up. But if there's a way for them to kind of um, uh, maneuver over to the left or the right, I'm gonna slow way down before getting in front of them. I don't care if there's a motorcycle behind me. I'll scoot over. You go ahead, because I have kids at home, and before I leave home, my son, he comes up. My younger son, he comes over and he's like, "Dad, be safe, be safe." And I felt so bad, man, when I came home from the hospital. So I was in the hospital for like 3 days. Um, I came home and he didn't even want to look at me.
Oh, that sucks.
I was like, "Hey, what's wrong?" He's like, "Well, I mean, you always say you're so safe." And I'm just like, man, I wanted to start crying when he said that because I'm like, hey, yeah, I was, it was so stupid of me to be selfish to want to ride a motorcycle to save gas because there's so many other options nowadays. you know?
Yeah. Nah, and for sure, man, you're lucky to just have broken your arm. Things could have been much worse, and it happened so quick. That's the crazy thing. It just especially on a motorcycle, sometimes you get put in a position where you just have to hope for the best. And what's crazy about what piqued my interest about your story is how there's so much that you don't remember, and that tells me that you were probably really concussed, that you know what I mean, your bone is sticking out and you're like standing up on the highway. Like that had to be a crazy scene, even for people walking by, or sorry, people driving by and they see you. Like, man, like, did anybody stop to help at all?
I don't know.
Oh man, yeah. So you don't
I don't
even
know.
know. That's wow, man. Well, thank goodness you're all right, dude. How's recovery going? Like, do you need any other surgeries or something?
I don't know. I don't think I'll need other surgeries. They put in a couple rods. I broke both of the bones in my in my arm. Um, the I don't know the technical terms, but I broke both. I broke both the bones, and a couple of the wrist bones also. Um, Many pieces. So I got a couple rods. I have a plate that goes and keeps my wrist in place, so I can't move my wrist. That kind of sucks. That really sucks. Actually, I can't do anything. I can't even like
Are you gonna have to go to like like physical
occupational therapy.
therapy and stuff? Yeah, to
Yeah,
be able to get the. Do they say you'll? Is it possible for you to get full range of motion back and all that?
unlikely.
Oh damn.
It'll be close to full range. Um, she said the way that the surgeon said it, she's like, it's it it's serious in the fact that you're not gonna get full range of motion back, but for the normal things that you do, you'll be able to do everything. You'll be able, you can go back to the gym, you can do all your things. But if you were a pitcher, I would tell you this, you're not, that your career is over. But all the normal human things that people do, you'll be able to do that 100%. Which is
Hmm.
great. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to hear. That my baseball career was over.
Yeah, well, man, God bless you, dude, and I'm happy you're still here with us, man. If that's all that if that's all how you came out of that, then it's a blessing in disguise, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And now you're about to have a brand new Tesla, so that's nice.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I said there's other options out there. I mean, as corny as it is, you can drive a I could have been driving a Prius and saving more than on my motorcycle, because motorcycles are gas guzzlers.
Mhm.
They suck up gas. Like you only get, I think I was getting like maybe 35, 40 miles per gallon, and I think a
Yeah.
Prius gets like 50 to 60
And
miles.
it's only like a 5-gallon tank,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, really think about your choices. Lane splitting is great until somebody cuts you off, and you don't have a you don't have a big iron cast um, protection like you do in a car. So, uh,
Yeah.
think about it, man. Especially who rides motorcycles. It's all these young kids.
Mhm.
They're the ones that are flying past you on the highway. They have a lot of
Yeah,
life, hopefully.
it makes my heart sink when like I see motorcyclists driving crazy. I'm like, oh man, they have no idea like the risk they're taking doing that, bro. You know, it's
Yeah.
just
I
and
was
like
going slow. I
yeah,
can't
right,
imagine if I was flying. I mean, let's just say I was going speed limit. Let's just say I was going 65. I would have died for sure.
right,
Uh,
yeah. That's fuck. It's so
but these
scary
kids,
to think
I
about.
mean, sometimes I used to ride to see my parents in Sacramento.
Hmm.
Well, in the Sacramento area, they're up near Folsom. Um, I used to ride up there, and people come up on their little motorcycles, the little rice rockets, and they want to race me, and I'm like, nah, man. I'm in my mid 30s. I wanna live for a long time. You go have fun. I'm just chilling. I'm, like, swaying like, "Nah, no, no, no."
That's so funny, man. Yeah, once when I had a Harley, I enjoyed that much more because um I don't know. It's like there's something about the crotch rocket, like having a Gixxer where you're like just the way you're positioned, like you want to go fast. There's things that you don't think you'll ever do on a motorcycle that completely changes when you're on the bike and you know what I mean, and you
Yeah,
throttle it. It's like, so having a Harley, just the position, the way I'm seated is different. It was just much more cruising. It was nice, man. But definitely, I'm happy that I got rid of the bike in time before I had some sort of crazy accident. But because you never know, man. And I do in the Marine Corps. If you ride a motorcycle, they make you do all the courses. I mean, they pay for it all, so it's cool
Oh, really?
because you have like all the knowledge. Yeah, like you learn how to trail brake, and you have to update your basic riders course and advanced riders course.
Yeah.
You have to do it like every two
And
years or
and
something
and
like
that's
that.
what I took. I took the MSF club courses and did all that, and that's why I was upset with the, CHP report. Like, I haven't gone to talk to them, but, they thought I was lane splitting because the witness said I was lane splitting. I'm almost like, "Nah, man, I was riding on the inside of the lane because that's the safe place to be because you want them to see you when
Yeah,
you're riding your motorcycle.
right.
You don't wanna be on the outside of the lane because I was
Where
riding
they don't see you. Yeah.
where they don't see you and they think they can go in and push you off the road, because
Mm-hmm.
that happens a lot. If they see that open spot, they're just gonna move in, and what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You're either gonna have to speed up or slow down or go into the wall.
Yeah.
It's best to be safe. Yeah, but
That's
here I am,
crazy.
my
Yeah.
kids still have a dad, and my wife still has a husband, and that's really
That's
important to me.
that's the most important thing, man. Hell yeah. So tell me a little bit about you said so you got 3 kids then cuz you said there's 5 of you.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
what's
I
the age split?
I have an older son. He's gonna be 14 in a few days, and I have uh, twins, a boy and a girl. They'll be 9 in November. So, well, oh, excuse me, they'll be 8 in November. So there's a big gap in between them. We struggled to have a second in between there, and God just blessed us when we thought we weren't going to have kids anymore. I can get into that. I can get into some of the struggles that we dealt with because there's a lot of parents out there that miscarriages and things like that. Um, as easy as it is for some women to have babies. I mean, obviously, there's the pregnancy pains that women go through, but there are women that deal with um, the struggles of trying to conceive or to have a child to give birth. And we struggled with that for a little bit. With our first, man, it was so easy. Um, my old making them is the easy part.
Yeah.
Uh, no, but the pregnancy it was easy. Um, my wife had all the cravings. She went through all the um, annoyances of being pregnant. Not annoying for me. I loved every bit of it. Uh, just in case he sees the podcast, right? Um, but getting big, the swelling of the feet, the feeling sick or feeling hungry in the middle of the night, and you particularly want to eat something. You want with my oldest son, she wanted bolis all the time. Do you know what bolis are?
Mm-mm.
They're like they're almost like popsicles, but they come in these plastic things, and some people can snap them in half, or you cut the end off, and it's
Oh
just
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's not like the popsicles with the sharp edges, but they're rounded off.
yes,
Right? It looks like a
kind of like an otter pop, but and she did like the otter pops too. It's
yeah.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
The
yeah. But
bullies, like
it's shaped like one of those hourglass things, right?
exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So she would always crave those with my older son. Luckily, we have a store called Winco nearby, and
Mm.
they're open 24 hours. At least they were before COVID. During COVID, everybody wanted to shut down. Walmart used to be 24 hours. You remember when Walmart was 24 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
I think there are still some that are. I don't know if any in California, but I think there are still some.
Yeah, there might be like one or two in the Fresno area, but the ones near me are not 24 hours anymore. Everybody wanted to close after COVID. So she was always craving those bolis. She always wanted tacos, things like that. And I was like, man, I was here for it, man. I love bolis, and I love tacos. With the small ones, it was different. Like she was craving like chocolate cake. She never liked chocolate cake. and
Yeah.
I didn't like chocolate cake either, but I started to love it when,
Yeah, when you it's so funny with the cravings, you're like, I
yeah,
guess I'll go to Taco Bell at 2 AM. I don't want to, but
Taco Bell or, Jack in the Box, like
Yeah,
the 99-cent tacos. I don't know why
yeah.
she wanted those. It's like, that's weird. Uh, so, yeah, we dealt with that, but, uh, in 2015, when my son was about 3 years old, we moved to
Mhm,
Los Angeles, for career opportunities. And that was amazing. Like we love living in Los Angeles. There's so
mm.
many things to do. There's museums. There's Disneyland down the road. There's Universal Studios. You can go to the beach. We were at the beach all the time there in Malibu and the Pacific Palisades. RIP to all the buildings out there and yeah, you can't just go out to Pacific Palisades anymore. Just down the beach. I guess you can go to the beach, but there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But there used to be there was like this restaurant in the Pacific Palisades that we used to love to go to, and not that we could afford to eat a bunch there, but they would serve on the beach, and you can order like a Coke and like a taco, a fish taco, and just be out there on the beach and just hang out. And we loved doing that on the weekends. It was important for me because I was traveling for work. I would be gone for like a week or two at a time. So when I came home, I would get off that plane thinking, I'm gonna take my family out. Uh, Something. If my wife wants to go shopping, we're gonna go shopping. Now it's so different. It's like I don't want to do nothing this weekend. Like I've been home all week. Uh,
Mhm.
but when we were in LA, it was fast living, man. Every weekend we were doing something. I went to all the museums down there, even the boring ones, the kid ones, the the Cube Museum, the Discovery Museum, the Peterson. Have you been to the Peterson Museum?
I don't think so, no.
The
No.
Peterson Museum is pretty awesome because they have a bunch of cars. I highly recommend it. Uh, even the girls love it. Like my daughter loves it. And then there's a car museum in Silmar, but that one's not as fun. Um, in 2015, excuse me, in 2017, um, my wife and I were expecting a baby boy, and everything was going great up until about the 4.5 month, 5 months in. And usually they say like 5 you make it to 5 months, it's pretty smooth after that. Because we've had, uh, trouble, having a baby, up until that point. But making it to that 5th month is supposed to be like the huge milestone. You make it to that, and you're just gonna cruise to 10 months. Unfortunately, we found out some bad news that she had she was diagnosed with a weak cervix, so she needed to go into bed rest. And that was fine with me. I was like, "Well, I'm going to support you all the way. Um, you can let your company know that you can go and leave, whatever." They were so gracious to let her work remote um, until she couldn't. Um, So she would have to be lying down, hips up, but it only lasted a few days because her water broke and we rushed to the hospital. We were exactly like 20 weeks, and they were like, the baby's not going to make it. At this point, we need to protect you. And this was one of those instances. There's this argument with the abortion anti-abortion um, fight where people that are pro-choice are always like, well, we need to have laws to protect the mother. This was one of the very few cases where um, it was to protect the mother. Um, uh, my wife um, was like all her vitals were going crazy, and they were like, we need to deliver the baby. And then I started praying, and I was like, God, I don't think that I can handle um, what comes with the baby being born at 20 weeks, because Not to say that the baby will have problems, but it's highly likely that the baby will have problems. Um, so, I was just talking with God, and I'm just like, if it's your will, and we can be here for as long as we need to be here for more weeks, to keep the baby in, because we want another child, but I need my wife, and my son needs his mom. I'm happy with my one son. I'm so
Hmm.
happy. Like this doesn't need to be if it's not in your will. But you also know the things that I can carry, and as strong as I try to pretend to be, I don't know how strong I am to be able to have a child with special needs. And I know I have my in-laws that they're so helpful, but I don't know that that's a burden that I wanna put my wife through, and I wanna, go through. But whatever's in your will, like, I if that's what happens, then that's what happens, and I'm gonna love my child no matter what. I'm gonna, raise them in the church, and, um, however things go, but save my wife. And, we were in the we're in the hospital, and they're like, "We need to deliver the baby. There's no option. There's no choice here." So I was like, "I understand.
Wow, dude.
Whatever you can do, say, let's do, everything we can do to save life today." Um, my whether it's both my child and my wife, however it works out. Um, this, God knows all things, and whatever needs to be done, we need to move forward, because I can't lose both. I can't lose both today. So, um, we have, we we go into the delivery room, and, um, we go through the delivery, and the baby was born stillborn. Um, and I thought that was it. I was like, I was trying to comfort my wife. She felt awful, uh, just completely devastated, but she was really weak, and the doctors were, like, coming in and out, and I'm like, "Man, what is going on?" Like, I get it, like, the baby was born stillborn, but, like, give us some space, and it wasn't even like that. They didn't it's like they weren't giving us space, and I'm like, "Something's going on." And the
Hmm.
doctors are, like, they keep looking at her numbers, and I'm like, What's going on?" And her doctor comes in, he's like, "I need to talk to you out in the hallway," and he's, like, telling me, like, you know, "Your wife is her numbers aren't looking good, and she's going into septic shock. We're gonna move her into the ICU. Her organs
What?
are shutting down. We
Whoa.
don't know what's going on with her." So they moved her into ICU, and, we were there for a few hours, and then the doctors are coming in, they're trying to figure out what's going on, and then finally one doctor comes in, he goes, We're gonna have to put her into an induced coma, because her organs are shutting down, and we just need all of her energy to conserve life. We don't know what's gonna happen. We need you to know that you need to prepare
Whoa.
for the worst."
That's
I already
crazy,
lost my
dude.
son, right?
Right.
Which
And
is
your
hard.
how old was your you have your 14 your kid who's about to be 14 now. How old was he at the time?
He was about, 4 years old.
So you have a 4-year-old, you just
Yeah.
lost your just had your stillborn, and
And
then
you
now
you know,
you're
you
facing the reality of having to lose your wife.
exactly. And, you know, having miscarriages is hard, but when you get to those 4 or 5 months, and you start to think like, "Oh, we're in the clear, we're gonna have the baby now," you start to imagine like, "Oh, this is how it's gonna be with this big brother. This is how it's gonna be, having 2 sons." You start to plan things out, um, and then it's all ripped away from you. Um, and at the same time, you have to comfort your wife, who has to deal with, you know, things that a woman goes through that, not being able to give birth, um, even though she's already done that. I'm like, don't worry, like we already have Gabriel. I love him. He's all I need if that's all that God wants to give us, and that's all that God's going to give us. I'm completely fine with that. Maybe later on we adopt if you have that need. I'll support it. We'll do that. I don't have a problem adopting. You know, it's we can raise another child if there's the need for that. But right now, I want you to know that this is more than enough for me. Um, and then she's then goes into an induced coma, and they're telling me like, we don't know what's going on. We're running all the tests, blood test, um, testing this, we're scanning that, and this is going on days, like a week, and it's going on.
She was
And
in she they put her in induced coma for a week?
we were in the hospital for like 3 weeks before they moved until they finally woke her up. And before she
Oh.
came back, um, she uh, they came back and they were like, "We think we figured it out. She has an autoimmune disease. It's just called TTP HUS, I think is what they called it." And all I heard was autoimmune disease, and I'm like, "What do you mean? Like my wife has AIDS? Like autoimmune disease? Like what the hell?"
Classic dude move. You're like, "No way, dude.
Like,
No,
nah,
I
I
got
don't. I haven't.
it."
um,
Is it contagious?
So I'm getting all this information, and when they walk out, I'm immediately looking it up. Like, what the heck is this? I'm watching videos, TED Talks, and the TTPHUS, and trying to figure out what it is. And then the doctor comes back, and he's like, "Okay, so here's the deal. We have this. This is a very unique case. We've never dealt with anything like this, but there is a medicine that we can give her, a treatment, but it's very expensive, and the hospital has put an order for it, but we're trying to work it out with the insurance because it's really expensive." And I'm like, "Dude, I'll do whatever. Like, I have a house in Fresno. I'll sell it. Like, whatever we need to do." And doctor walks out. Of course, I go right back to the internet to find out what's going on, and I look up the treatment, and apparently the treatment for this is it's this um it, it's like a shot that you get. They consider one shot a treatment, and I remember him saying, "We have four treatments on order, but she's gonna have to take a treatment every single day for the rest of her life. As soon as she starts, she has to take it for the rest of her life." Well,
Hmm.
apparently each treatment is like several $100,000. And I was like, when I saw the price, I was like, "Oh my god!" Apparently, like in Great Britain, the government, it's really hard to get it approved, but the government will cover it. Medical insurance isn't like that here in the United States. So, I started stressing out, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I can sell my house, but that's only gonna cover like a few days. It's not even gonna cover a week. Uh, so
It's crazy, dude.
um, so the doctor comes in after like a day or two, and he's like, "All right, the insurance has approved it, but we're just doing some last things." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God! Like the insurance approved it." I don't know what that means for the future, but for right now, like my wife is saved for right now. And then a few hours go by, and I'm like, "Man, when are they gonna come back with this treatment? Like my wife's still in a coma." And he comes back after like, man, like 8 hours. It was like a long time. And he goes, "Change of plans. We're not going to do the treatment. Um, we think we found something else, but we're running more blood tests." And I'm like, "Dude, isn't my wife dying here?" And he's like, "Don't like, just give us a few hours." And then they came back like another 8 hours later. This is already going into the next day again,
Mm.
and they were like, "Okay, we found that uh, she has a very particular strain of E. coli. It's I can't remember the name of it now. Um, I want to say like Shanghai or something, but it's not. It's uh, it's not a city in China. Um, she had a particular strain of E. coli, and he goes, "We're gonna put her on dialysis and plasmapheresis, and we're gonna see if that brings her back." So they started doing it, and a few days go by, and they're like, "Her vitals are getting better." And at this point, she's like really bloated. Like she's like two twice as big as her normal size is, because she's got so many fluids going in her.
Really?
Yeah, man, she got really big. And I mean, keep in
That's
mind she was
crazy.
already pregnant.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah, that's true.
she was already
Dang.
pregnant, so
Yeah,
so
'cause
all the
normally I feel like when people get put into an induced coma, they lose a lot of weight on it because they're only receiving what they need, you know? But you have that. I forgot about that. She was pregnant, gave birth. Her body didn't really have the time to recover,
yeah.
post birth recovery, and you just get put in. That probably had some huge impact on
It
her.
yeah,
Wow.
there was a lot. It was a lot going on, and so they say her vitals were getting better, and then one day she just like woke up, and she's got the breathing tube in her, and she wants to tear it out, and they go grab her arms. They have to tie her down. Her eyes are like really bloodshot, like red, like all the white is just red.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, if it wasn't my wife, it would look completely scary,
Hmm.
like a horror movie. Um, and you know, she's been in a coma for days and days and days and days, so she hasn't been able to take a shower, and you know, um, I it was just yeah, it was not good, and you know, she woke up, she's freaking out, and they get her to go back to sleep, and they were like, "Man, that was really good. She woke up." So they took out the um, no, they didn't take out the breathing tube. They waited for her to wake up again, and they had to explain to her like, "Look, you've been in a coma for X amount of days. Um, you went into septic shock. Your some of your organs are coming back, but your kidneys haven't come back, and that's a major concern because it's not filtering your blood, and you have a you have an issue with your blood." Um, you know, and they're explaining to us, her blood is it's not um, it's running too thin, so it's not coagulating or whatever they called it.
Hmm.
You know, they're giving all these statistics, and they're like, it's not good. The plasmapheresis is helping, but it's still like we're working on this. You can see it like with her blood vessels on her skin, all those little red spots. That's because the blood is coming through those vessels because it's too thin, and
Oh, dang.
so they're running the plasmapheresis for more days, and she starts to get better, and thank God they were able to save her life. And after that, she went to dialysis and plasmapheresis for a few weeks. She was really weak. It was a long recovery. Um, but that was hard, man. We lost the baby, and when she woke up, she had to deal with what I had already been dealing with um, on my own, was the loss of the baby. And you know, I was going to work because I still have a son, right? Like I still have to provide. I was going to work, and everybody at work's like, You should just like," and I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Like my wife's in a coma. Like I'm just sitting in a hospital depressed. Like I can work. I can
Yeah.
work. It gets my mind off of things. My father-in-law's there. You know, he's retired. I can come to work. He's there. He's taking care of her. That helps him because it's his daughter. Um, it's his daughter, and he needs to spend time with her. He doesn't. I don't get in his way. He's not getting in mine. This is fine. Like I need to work. Um, so I was working, and yeah, man. Once she came out of it, it was a hard time just to like again, talking to her like, I'm happy with my son. I've had a lot of time to think about this. They had given us a box of like photos and footprints and stuff, and we've never opened it.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, we've never opened it. It was too hard for her to uh, to deal with that,
Hmm.
and I put it away, and she I think she's probably forgotten about it, but yeah, man, it was hard to get past that.
That's
And
crazy,
and and,
dude.
and now we have twins because I bet people are thinking like, well, but don't you have younger kids? Yeah, man, I do have younger kids. Um, so uh, after all that traumatic stuff, we decided to move back to Sacramento. That's where we're from. Um, like we spent some time living in Fresno. My in-laws were like, we're moving back to Fresno. It's too expensive in Los Angeles. And my wife and I were like, "Oh, we can't. Uh, not that we can't afford it, but it's going to be really hard to have our son here in Los Angeles. We're working in Woodland Hills, and you're traveling. You can be in New York this week. You can be in Florida next week. You can be in Mexico, and it's just me having to drive the 45 minutes if he gets a stomachache at school, and like it doesn't work. So we decided to move to um, the Folsom area, up near. I'm not sure if you know where Folsom is at, but it's in between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, my wife is from Sacramento.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
we moved out there for a while, and um, my family, they're all active and young and moving around, and my parents work, um, live very busy lifestyles. And when we do get together and all the family comes together, it's a ruckus, man. Start drinking, people start fighting. My wife is like, I can't raise my son around this. Like, I forgot how your family was when before we moved out of Sacramento. And I was like, "Yeah, I haven't forgotten. This is why when my mom's like, oh, so and so invited us to a quinceañera or a wedding,' I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm all right. I don't want to deal with that." And my wife's always like, but I love weddings. I'm like, nope,
No, not this one.
not this one. And then you find out who fought, who got a little too drunk, who was running around naked, just like weird stuff, like just complete dysfunction. Uh,
Yo, let me ask you though. So like after that, how long was it before you guys got pregnant again? Because I'm sure that
oh
that was
man.
like there was like this lingering fear that both of you kind of dealt with.
Oh, complete fear. So, I thought, because when I talked to her gynecologist, when we made the decision um, to give birth to the son that we lost, um, the way he explained it to me was that they were gonna remove her. Oh, they were probably gonna have to remove her ovaries or cervix. I can't remember. I don't know the female parts. I mean, I took biology. I promise you I had a good grade in that class, but
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Nah,
I
I'm
don't
the same way, dude. I'm the same way. You know, when we have to deal with with our wives giving birth and stuff, you know what I mean? Like
know.
I mean with the exception of what you had to go through cuz that's wild, bro, but that little couch that they give us to just sit there and wait, bro. Nobody talks about how uncomfortable that couch is.
That
You know what I
couch
mean? That little
sucks, bro.
crappy blue couch, dude. Come on, man.
They try to trick you, make it look like a recliner.
Yeah. I'm just teasing. Yo, well, okay. What about this? I'm interested to know this. What did your when your wife came back fully and you had your first conversation with her? What did she remember? And also, did she ever talk about her experience through through being under? Like, did
Yeah.
she experience anything? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is I don't know if you're willing to share that information.
Yeah. So She does remember going to the hospital when she broke her when her water broke.
Yeah.
She remembers getting rolled up to the room, but I don't think she remembers much after that. Um, she does. So I asked her, like, do you remember anything when you were under? Like, did you have any nightmares? Did you have any dreams? And she goes, the way she explained it, she goes, I I I don't remember a lot, but I do remember like everything being black and void. And then suddenly, um, I was like surrounded by angels, and we were all singing. And my wife sings at church. She's the musician director at church. She plays the piano. But she was like, it was completely different. Like, I mean, just the level of singing and the happiness and the joy. And I was just like,
Wow.
and that kind of hurt me. I was like, wow, so you were having a good time, huh? I was going to work, and then from work I was going to the
Yeah.
hospital. I'm sitting in the
Like,
car
how
singing,
dare you? How
crying.
dare you sing with the angels
Yeah,
while you
I'm
leave me
driving.
here with this stress?
Yeah, I'm driving, listening to the Beatles, like yesterday, and all my troubles seem so far, and yeah, no, I'm kidding. I didn't get on there about that, but it was it was amazing to hear that because when it's funny because when I had my accident, um, I also had like really vivid dreams. Um, I can't really explain all of hers. I remember that one, but
Mhm.
I can't explain mine. I so my first night coming, I couldn't sleep in the hospital. Nobody, who the heck can sleep in a hospital unless you're in a freaking coma, I guess.
Yeah.
But when I got home, the first time I fell asleep, um, I was having this dream, and I had this dream. Um, I've had this dream a few times in the last few months, and you prophetical translators out there, feel free to message me on what the heck it means. Um, so I've had this dream in the past few months where I was in this really big house and multiple level home, like 3 4 stories. And I remember the first time I had this dream. My father-in-law, who has passed away, and he passed away in 2020. Um, he came out, and I remember thinking like, "Oh, well, like what's my father-in-law doing here?" And he goes, "Look, you're in this house, but I need you to know that there's an entity here, but I've trapped it on the top floor. Don't let the kids go up there. Don't go up there. When as soon as you can leave this house, leave this house."
Hmm.
And I don't completely remember that dream, but I do remember um, we were all looking for my son Gabriel, my oldest son, um, and I was like running outside, and it was almost like I was out in the hills, like in Placer County, or El Dorado County, um, where we were living before, when we moved up to near Sacramento, and it was like forest, and there was like this huge porch wrapped around the whole house. And I remember running on the porch looking for my son, and that's all I remember from that dream. But when I came back from the hospital in this accident, I was having this dream. I was having a dream in the same house where I've had multiple dreams in, and I was in the room with my younger son, and a spirit, like his blanket started lifting up, and immediately I was like, "Oh no!" And my son wasn't paying attention, and I was like, "Johnny, watch out!" And I started praying. I'm like praying. I was rebuking this spirit that was in the room, and I knew where I was. I knew I was in that house, and I mean, I was praying hard. I was like, oh, I, telling it's got to leave in Jesus' name. Um, I mean, I was going in, and then finally it just stopped. And then I turned, and out of the corner of my eye, I could see my daughter run up. Like I think she got scared and started running up. And I was like, I was like, she's not supposed to go upstairs. Like they're not supposed to go upstairs. So I started running after her, and I started running up, and suddenly like the stairs were broken, but she was up. She went up, and I'm like looking around, and the center of this house, it's like one of those houses, like an old house where the stairs are in the middle of the house, and it's like a square, and you can like look up and you can see up on the next floor. But the stairs were broken, so I was like, man, I gotta get up there. So I had to like get up on the stair and like jump up and pull myself up. Not crazy. I'm a big guy, but I can do pull-ups. Not anymore. Not for at least the next year probably. Um, but I pulled myself up, and I'm, like, running around looking for her, and I, ran in this room, and there was, like, a chair, like this chair, but bigger, and I can see my daughter's feet, and, I started yelling out for her, and, and that's when immediately I woke up, and my son was standing in front of me, my older son, Gabriel. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What? What's going on?" He's like, "You were yelling my name." And I'm like, "I wasn't yelling your name." And my wife's like, "He wasn't yelling for you. He was yelling for your sister." And I was like, immediately, I was like, "Oh, like you heard me?" She's like, "Yeah, you were praying and like rebuking something." And I was like, "Oh, you can hear me?" I was like deep in sleep, and she's like, "Yeah, you were having some kind of nightmare. I don't know what the heck's going on, but you're scaring the kids."
That's wild, man.
I called up my brother-in-law, who's also my pastor, and I told him what was going on, and, um, yeah, you people that can, translate dreams, let me know, man, what's going on. Um, uh, it was a weird one. It was a weird one.
Yeah.
I think there's, sometimes there's purpose behind dreams, especially when you keep having the same one over and over.
Mhm.
Um, and, yeah, I mean, I got a big house, but not like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was like
Yeah, nah, it's funny, man. I agree. I think that, you know, the the world, the universe, it's so weird, man. Like, I've been I've talked about it recently, but we've gone to church, and I pray every day, and I've really been working on my relationship with God, and it's just interesting. I had a personal experience where at this point it's just hard to deny that God is real and He exists and He's here for us. But it's funny, like people like Elon Musk, how he says like it's more than likely that we live in a virtual reality. It's like you got a funny way of saying you believe in God, man. Yeah. Like yeah, where this is a virtual reality. Yeah, it's God's
Yeah,
virtual reality. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So yeah, I mean everything happens for a reason. If you keep having these dreams in this house, it's got to mean something, right? I'm sure somebody out there can kind of
I,
break it down.
we had somebody come to the church, and in the past, he has, prophesied over me, and um, he, it was probably like a year ago, he came to the church, and he told me like, "Man, I see you, and I don't know why, man. I just for some reason, I see you moving somewhere, um, but you're like around like big people, like people that make laws, people that control stuff, like the city. Um, like I don't know if they're like mayors or something, but I'm seeing this, and I don't know, man. I'm just letting you know. Like I don't know if you're planning on getting a new job or making some kind of move or something, but uh, something's coming. Just be ready for it.
Mm.
And then like a couple, like not even a week later at work, my boss was like, he comes and talks to me. He's like, "Hey, we're looking at this office in downtown. Uh, we need to see if it can work for us." So I look it up, and we've since moved in there. But I'm looking it up, and I'm like, "Well, what's around it?" And it's in the same building as the Administration of Social Security. It's the city of Fresno. Um uh, uh, Homeland Security and ICE is in there. Um, the congressman has an office there. The ATF is there next door. The federal courthouse is right next door. The Superior Court of California is there. The county courthouse is right there. And I was like, man, that's crazy. That would be crazy if that happens. Like that he said that, and here we are. And we made that. We have made that move. We moved in July, in early July, um, to this building. But he also he had come back a month or two ago, and he was like, "Man, I don't know if um, you're gonna get like a big house or something if you're making a move, but I just keep seeing you in this really big house, and I don't know. I'm just seeing you in this big house." And when I woke up from that dream, all I could think about was like, that was that big house.
Mm.
There's something about it. So when
Yeah.
I should probably reach out to him and talk to him about it and see what he thinks. Because
Yeah.
I never put too much into like prophecies and this and that. I had just read about it in the Bible, and I'm not discrediting it. I believe it, right? I believe
Mm-hmm.
what I read in the Bible. Um, but to say like, oh, there's prophets that walk today, I never really believed that until now.
Mm-hmm.
Now with dealing with with these people, I feel like my faith has opened up in directions that I never would have even dreamed of 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, it's a lot going on in this country, a lot going on in this country in the aspect of faith.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree, man. And, it's just interesting. It seems like you've been through a lot. And I think that, God puts hardship in our way to kind of make us stronger and prepare, and, I appreciate you sharing everything, man. That shit, I really wasn't sure what we were going to talk about, and then like, it got intense, man. That would be my nightmare, what you experienced, with your wife and stuff. And, thank God she's okay. And, and I'm sure it's made your guys' relationship, and love for each other even stronger, and then on top of, you just recently had an accident, you know what I mean? And it's like, everything happens for a reason, dude. And, I really appreciate you sharing all that, dude. We're getting close to the end here, man. I don't know. What do you got? Give us a closing message for the listeners and tell them where they can find you at, dude.
Well, I appreciate the chance to be selfish here. Um, so, I again, my name is Gio. I'm part of the Don't Mind Us podcast. We are part of the Lead Network, which is a network of multiple independent podcasts that work together to try to grow. We collaborate, we share resources, share tips and plans, and we even make these clips that seem to be going viral. People recognize us out there in the streets when we go out to like political events. They're like, "Oh, you guys are those guys that make those clips." Um, it's really awesome to work with people that not that we're all I'd like to say like-minded, but not that we all agree 100% on everything. um, we're all independent thinkers. We all think freely, but we're able to get together and share uh, this group, right? This organization, and we're all trying to grow together. um, I got to plug everybody right now, Daniel. I'm sorry,
Go
but
ahead. Nah, go ahead. Do it.
Mondays we have California Unfiltered at 7. Tuesday is Don't Mind Us at 7. That's my show with my buddy Christian, where we talk about all kinds of fun political stuff, but we try to make light of it. We try to find a way to make light of it. Sometimes it's hard with politics, though. Sometimes things that are going on, it's hard to laugh at. But if we can find a way to do it, we're going to find a way to do it. And then Wednesday nights is Latino Free Minds. It's a little bit more of uh, uh, a structure. It's a lot more of a structure in the political realm. They focus a lot on in politics and trying to educate people um, in things that are going on. They like to focus big on local politics, not necessarily just where they live in Fresno or in the Bay Area, but they also focus on other places in California. They talk to local politicians, congressmen. They have a lot of people on. They've talked to governor candidates. They've talked to congressional candidates. Um, that's a fun show. Wednesdays at 7. Thursdays is the Spanish day. Thursday is first is Calimente Libre with Karina Powers, and she's out on the central coast of California, and she talks about things that are going on in Congress, bills that are moving. She's just trying to educate the normal person in Spanish. It's a lot like Latino Free Minds, but it's in Spanish. And then the hour after that, at 8 o'clock, is La Patria, and that's an awesome show. Alfred is always having some cool guests on there. And then Friday, it's Daniel, Point Blank Truth. And man, I have to say that I love your show because it gives me, um, it shows me the side of education that I almost am I'm blind to, right? When you have when you talk about things that are going on, these are things that are going on in school boards all over California, really all
Mhm.
over the country.
Yeah.
I think you made a comment last week, like these things happen in other states too. It's just that everybody loves to laugh and make fun of California. Um,
It's true.
so uh, it's these battles that are going on with you guys come out and talk about things, and I'm like, oh man, we use those things at my kids' school too. Like, how come I'm not paying it? I didn't realize that I signed off on this, and what if iClever or iReady or whatever these programs are using are
Yeah.
giving their information away to who are they giving their information away to? Because
Right.
they got to make money somehow. And you talk about the decisions that they're making. It's just man,
Or even like right now, like the big controversy with us, it's like this isn't just in Temecula. Every state this is going on where
yeah.
it is legal for a trans girl to go into the locker room with our daughters and shower with our daughters if they wanted to. And it
What's
could
the
be
loophole?
happening in your what's
You,
that?
you you talked about a loophole last week on how to protect your daughters.
Yeah, a lot of conservatives aren't happy about it, but it just is what it is, because the loophole is that we already have private rights to privacy as individuals.
Yeah.
So there is a way for you to go to your district or to your individual principal, your individual school and say, "Hey, my daughter's not comfortable. She has a right to privacy. You guys need to accommodate her." There's a document. Oh man, I'm forgetting the person's name. If anybody's interested, just reach out to me. But there is a document that is already tailored for California. It fits it like literally. You can print the document. You can get it for free. I went to the legal. I forgot the name of the company, but it's some lawyer firm in California. I went to their website and I tried to find it and I couldn't click it. So I called them and they actually emailed me the document. So you guys can reach out to me. You can reach out to them if you have any questions, but it's just a document. It's a right to privacy document. And you give that to your principal and they have to accommodate you. And a lot of conservatives are upset because their argument is that, no, our daughters don't have to leave the bathroom. It should be the transgender student that needs to be accommodated. And while I do agree with that, we have to address the things that we
Yeah.
can do right now. Like in Temecula, it's a big thing. At one of our middle schools, at our last school board, some girls came and spoke, and they said, there's a boy changing, a biological boy changing with us. We don't want to fill out a mental health accommodation or claim to be super religious for our right to privacy to be respected. And that's legit. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we try to do over
It
here.
it it seems like a weird loophole to get out of an issue that should just be taken care of, but it the reality is we need to, we really do need to protect our daughters, right?
Yeah.
And sons too, 'cause you really don't want it to be the other way around either. Like, I don't want my son to be in a locker room with, a strong girl, you know?
Right, right. Or even, and dude, I my inbox is always full with local people, people who tune in, people who are left leaning, right leaning. Like, I feel like I've developed a good reputation in my area. There's a lot of things that I don't talk about or touch on just because it's like, I kind of don't want to go down that rabbit hole without any more information. But I recently had somebody reach out to me who's a staff member in our district that was like, hey, what about the staff members that don't want to have to deal with that? Like, for example, what about the male PE teacher that has to deal with, like what you said, like a trans boy in the locker room? He doesn't want to see lady parts,
Yeah.
or vice versa. It's like,
That's so
yeah,
uncomfortable.
they
I
have
don't wanna
they
see that
have
either.
right, exactly. Like, dude, I think about that. It's like it's not just lady parts; it's a child lady parts that
Yeah.
you're exposing these adults to. You
It's
put me in a
perversion.
weird position. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
see that. So yeah, but this is just what's going on in California right now. Temecula's got the limelight because our school board tried to come up with their own way to deal with it, and they weren't really listening to everybody's opinion on it. Like, hey, a mental health waiver, that's ridiculous. A religious accommodation, that's ridiculous. There's a right to privacy already, isn't there? So now we're in the limelight, but this is a reality for every Californian.
Yeah.
And other states could be happening at your school, and the staff members are just telling your students to be hush hush, don't say anything, like don't be a bigot. For all you know, your daughter can be already dealing with this and basically being bullied into like, don't be ridiculous. That's a girl. Just
Yeah.
accept it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No.
yeah, it's important for us to step up and be involved in school board specifically, and that's kind of where we started with this. So
Yeah, and be aware that the document exists, and I know that, there's gonna be a lot of people out there like, "Oh, man, you're just bending to what they want you to do." You know what? Think about this. You're going to want to protect your kids first, even if it means right now that your daughter or your son has to change in their own private area, so that they're not exposed to something that they shouldn't be exposed to, because it's happening. Like
yeah,
my oldest son, he's going to be 14 now. He's in the 8th grade, but when he was in the third third grade, we got a notice that from his school, that there was going to be a trans individual in his classroom, like a child. And I was like, dude, they're 3rd grade. That means that they're like 9 years old. What the heck
right,
do they know? What do you know
right,
about what you wanna be and what you're supposed
right.
like, you don't like, oh, man, you just wanna go to the parents and punch them in the face. Uh,
And it's interesting, man, is because the other thing that I try to tell parents also, because what I experience a lot in Temecula is parents jump to the conclusions, and like we've had some weird situations, and then we've had some situations that are questionable, but then it was like it was really nothing, and it was a parent that jumped to conclusions.
yeah,
We can't just be the dad that goes to the school board and is yelling on the microphone, but then we don't even know the teachers' names. Like,
yeah,
there is a process. If you see something you don't like, address it with the teacher. I think a lot of parents, this is another side to this, is a lot of parents are afraid to say something to the teacher, and then they're just emailing school board members and superintendents nasty emails. And it's like, dude, make your presence known. These are our children, right? Like,
yeah,
if I have a teacher that has like let's say I go to a classroom and a teacher has a poster on the wall that's like pro LGBTQ or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to ask for a meeting with that teacher. I'm going to make sure that it's understood like, hey, I just want to know why you feel like you have that. Are you just supportive? Is it something that you teach? Is it part of your curriculum? I want to know, because you have a right. You have a right to freedom of speech. And I'm not trying to change your mind or tell you have to take it down, but I also have a right to decide which adults are spending time around my children. And we have to make our presence known. I mean, that's the only way to do it. We have to learn how to live with people that have these different views. You know, I don't think that they need to be kicked out of the district, just like I'm not going anywhere. We have to learn how to coexist, and I'll respect your boundaries as long as you respect mine, but we have to break that threshold. We have to have the balls to step up and say something. You know, we can't just email the superintendent about something we've seen. You know, reach out to the teacher. If that doesn't work, reach out to the principal. If that doesn't work, that's when the email goes to the superintendent. But, you know, a lot of people do it backwards because they're afraid to offend somebody, or, you know what I mean? They're scared. They just want to hide behind school board members to make decisions for us. And like, it don't work like that. You know, like the right to privacy, the principal needs to accommodate you. You know what I mean? This doesn't have to be national news. Reach a lot of these teachers and these principals. There's a lot of them that do have the same beliefs that I have, that you have, that we have. You know what I mean? And there's this weird culture where California's created, where it's like parents against teachers, and it shouldn't be like that. And we're the ones that have to make sure that we break the chains of that dynamic. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, dude, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And yeah, we'll just keep pushing, bro.
Exactly. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, of course. We'll see you guys later. Thank you for tuning in.
God bless.